Hi everybody, welcome back. It is I, Danielle, better known as Danielle, a medium in the industry. And in today's subject topic for matter, it's all about the animals, the four-legged friends, all of those who are in the spirit world. But if you're coming across this video for the first time, then why not join us over on my channel, covering all things mediumship development, and all things spiritual. For those who are the return subscribers, thank you very much. I do appreciate your support and loyalty over here as I continuously give more knowledge and share more videos with you. But today's one, if you've got your cup of tea, mine's here. Excuse me. We're going to talk a little bit about animals. And are animals important in communications? Can we do animals on their own? That was a question I got from a student, actually. That's what prompted the video. And talk a little bit about some of the experiences that I've had with animals in the spirit world. So animals in the spirit world are obviously all of the ones that have passed over, that have belonged to people, so dogs and cats and hamsters and gerbils and birds and you name it. There is no sort of limit here on what can come through from that animal communication side. Animal communications is becoming more and more popular, and I see a lot of it on rostrums, which is churches to me and you, and also within the private sitting sector. And for me, it's one of the most beautiful things that we can do. One thing I learned very early on in my development, and I'll tell you this very short story, is that I had a lady book me for a reading, and at the time I was doing a lot of private sittings. And I thought, oh, she's looking for a particular individual. And I brought this gentleman through, I brought this lady through, I brought multiple people through. And she was like, no, I understand them people, but that's, not what I'm really looking for. And I was like, sort of saying to my spirit team, wait, like, what am I missing here? Like, what's the problem here? Like, type thing. And just quickly in my sort of awareness, sort of here, I seen this bit of white. And I thought, that's a dog. Like, and I said to her, look, I said, if I got this wrong, then that's fine, and I'm quite happy to refund you, etc., etc. I said, I've got this white dog. And the lady burst out crying in the chair. So that was a very good reminder for me as an individual that even on the private sitting, not everybody's going to book you for people. They may book you for animals. And the reason for this is that some people don't have children, or some people choose not to have children for whatever reasons. And what will happen is they will then be very attached to the animal world, and they'll have lots of animals that they see as their children or babies. And I am one of them people who I have family of my own. I've had cats, and I've still got a senior cat here. And, you'll probably all be able to relate to this. You talk to them a little strange, a little funny and stuff. And so remember, the band of love is just as important here as it is with regards to the two-legged loved ones, family members. They're just as important to some people. And I think that's important to remember when we're doing animal communications. Now, a question that was asked of my student was, can you do animal communications on their own? My answer to this is, and this may differ across the industry, so do sort of keep a sort of thought-based matter there. I say yes. And the reason I say yes for is because if we can learn to adapt the way we do our development, then there is no reason as to why we couldn't do an animal on its own. Now, animals don't talk like we do, but animals do energy. They do lots of different things, and they're very similar to us. It's just about us manipulating our mediumship to accommodate for that. So what I tend to find when we're doing animals, you'll do a lot of knowing, you'll do a lot of feeling, you may do a lot of picture work, just as an example, you may do a lot of smells here as well, because ultimately you're not going to get a lot of words here. Now, animals do come with the family loved ones and the family members. Excuse me, what terrible sort of frog in my throat there. Another thing that I have learned as well is that the dogs or the cats or the animals tend to come before the humans do. So one thing can be very important. So if you're trying to find a loved one, you may get an animal first, and then the loved one will become aware to you. Or it might just be that the animal's on its own. It just all depends. It depends on the communication. It depends on how your mind's wired up. So for me, animals are a very important part of communicational world, and if done correctly, can be absolutely amazing. If we really want to sort of look into another side of animals, which is we talk about animal totems. Now, this isn't quite in the evidential mediumship world, but it is part of mediumship. And mediumship, as I've said for many years, has lots of different sections of understanding. So if you've got mediumship, you've got your animals, you've got your psychic, you've got your evidential world, really for the sort of animal totems that don't sit in the evidential world, but they do sit in the mediumistic world. And I think that's important to remember when we're doing mediumship. It's not all one, just all the way down the evidential world. There's many different sections that can help us to understand our development more. But animal totems is another example of animals being used by the spiritual world to give us signs and give us understandings within our development. So, for example, sometimes I say ants. Now, ants are an association of building. So, ants are very good at building, they're very good at being colonized, they're very good working as a team. There's many sort of ideas there with that one. Excuse me. Another one could be that I may say a horse. So, horse to me is a workhorse. See the example, workhorse. Another one's an eagle, being able to see above a certain situation, look above what's being presented, look again to see whether or not you're seeing it from all angles, or take a bird's eye view with that. Another one's an owl. So I see an owl and its head obviously spins all the way around. I need to see something from all sides of the coin. So animal totems are very helpful when you're doing your development. Animals also, I find, for people who are struggling with seeing people. And I talked about this on the last video, which is sometimes we see energy. Some people see animals. Now, animals can be obviously camouflaged as energy, but also the mind's interpreting it that way. Easy to get guides in, easy to be able to do development, easier to do them because people don't feel the pressure. Sometimes when we're working with people or looking for people, the pressure can be very, very immense. So, and what the spirit world's doing is always trying new techniques to help you get your development over, or your communication over, or a guide over. I remember a student many years ago who struggled with looking at people and really found that quite daunting. So what the spirit world did was actually adapt that to a picture of an animal to help. I think maybe probably not the spirit world, more her mind. But spirit does also alter and shift things to accept to the mind. And that person was able to do communications. I think that person's actually gone on to do very, very well in mediumship, and not in this country, in the US. So I know that spirit will help you, support you in many different ways, and animals is just one of them. So if you're looking at animal totems, or even just if you're seeing an animal in the spirit world, think to yourself, well, what's the spirit world trying to say to me? What are you communicating to me? What are you trying to tell me? Animals are unique beings. They have what we call eternal love. There is nothing in an animal. An animal will love you unconditionally, no matter your color, no matter what your race, no matter what your sexuality, whatever it may be. Animals just love you for you. And I think that's one of the most beautiful aspects of mediumship when it comes to animals, that animals take you as you are and they love you unconditionally, no matter how you are or the way you are. And I think for me, that always proves that bond of love that never really dies. And so for me, when people talk to me about animals and communications, can they come forward on their own? Yes. Some hints and tips to help you with this one. So try to change your development a little bit. Look at different clays that you may not be using. Now, I use that word because it's probably easier for you to understand. I use words like ability. So for those changing up your clay range, speak to guides about this. See if guides can incorporate this into your work. It's important that you at least have some knowledge in this area, because when you have knowledge in this, you can then expand on it. Or at least once you've got your flags flying, the spirit world can then always bring something in for you. When we don't have the flags flying, it's very hard for them to get the things through the database or through that awareness, which is important, because we want to be the best mediums we can possibly be. You don't want to keep your work just to humans. When you're a diverse, multifaceted medium, you should be able to do lots of different areas in mediumship, from your trance to your animals to your communications to your psychic work. The list is endless, and that's probably one of the most important things I love about mediumship. The possibilities are endless. There's something for everybody, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about mediumship, again, in that band of love. So for animals, here's some hints and tips in here for you. There's some opportunities to really push your development and experience your development in new and fundamental ways. Look out for signs and signals from spirit that they may be trying to communicate with animals, and allowing you to explore that more. And have fun with this. It's important. Don't let your mind just become one sort of way. Make sure you've got many multifaceted ways to be able to bring that development to the forefront. So it's been a pleasure. I love talking to you. Anyway, I hope it's been some help this video. I hope I've been able to inspire your minds a little bit more there about our beautiful animal kingdom over there. And one of the other things that Spirit just want me to bring in there, even if you don't think your loved ones are with you, trust me, they will be. And also your animal pets and things in the spirit world will also work alongside you to bring the very best from your mediumship and your mediumship development. So I'm going to leave this one with you today. I'll see you all on Friday. All right. So have a great week. Let me know if you have animals in your communications. Let me know if you do animals in your communications. Let me know if you have animals working with you in the spirit world. And I'll endeavour to get back to you in the comments box there. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Honestly, I am so blessed. So thank you very much for trusting in me with your development. Take care. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you all Friday. Bye for now.